Hey everybody, how's things? Oh, okay, so I was looking for, well, first of all, sorry I sort of dropped off the face of the planet for a few days. I think I got everything shipped that I was supposed to get shipped. Had some stuff going on, repairs and whatnot. Anyway, so I wanted to try to do some mini journals, and so I started kind of looking through my stuff, and I wound up completely rearranging my whole studio. But in the meantime, while in the process, I found these bags that I forgot I had, and I thought, I got these because I wanted to make them into journals. And I also had a whole bunch of other like cornmeal bags and things like that, but I didn't really have enough of them to do like a dozen. I like to do, if I'm going to kind of do like a series, I like them to at least be the same size. It makes life a lot easier. Anyway, so I had 19 of these bags. These are some flour bags. I'm going to call them flour sacks, even though they're not fabric. But anyway, so I had 19 of them, and I thought what I would do is make 12 of these into journals, and then the other 7 I can do as a kit, and I can share those with you guys. So what I'm going to do is sort of figure out what I'm going to use in these as I go, and then whatever I have a quantity of that you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to put in these yet, but what I'll do is I will put as much of whatever I put in these in the kits. You know what I mean? So, you know, like fabric and pockets and things like that. So, and embellishments. So I'll try to make sure as I go that I have enough of whatever I'm using to also fill those kits with that stuff. Does that make sense? I hope so. Anyway, so I just sort of wanted to go through. I did do sort of a prototype. That's what I usually do, is I make one sort of as a model, and I've had a lot of people asking for some more like lap books, and so I thought I would sort of do them in that kind of style. I don't know if they would necessarily qualify as lap books, but with lots of things that flip out and tip in and all that, different pockets and things like that. So, and tucks. So, and I've also wanted to do some fabric journals, and well, I shouldn't say fabric journals. I've wanted to use some fabric in some journals, and I haven't done anything like that for quite a while. So I thought I would sort of mash all of that stuff into one. So I want to, these aren't exactly minis, but these are going to qualify as my monthly minis for this month. And then use up some fabric, and also the idea of like a lap book style book journal. Anyway, so I went back and forth about how I was going to configure these and how I was going to fold them and that kind of thing. And so what I decided to do is, like, you have to decide what you want to be your front, your front cover, and then what side you want that to be on. So like if you want, because this is going to be like a tri-fold type of thing, right? So, if you want it to open this way, and then this would be like, the journal part here, that would be fine. I thought this would actually be kind of cool now that I'm saying that. Actually, I hadn't thought this before, but now I am thinking it. This might be kind of cool to do just with inserts, so that someone who is left-handed might enjoy using this either way, like, yeah. Yeah, so let's try, I'm going to try to keep that in mind as I go. Although some stuff might wind up being upside down, so I don't know. I'll see how it goes, but you know, I guess if you're left-handed, you could always just kind of switch it, or maybe it doesn't matter. I just know that sometimes it's hard for people who are left-handed to um, you know, rest their hand on certain things while they're writing, you know, and that can be annoying. But anyway, so I'll see what happens with that idea. But so here's what I've decided to do. I wanted to try to preserve as much of the integrity of the bag as possible. I wanted to try to use this part as, you know, like a tuck spot or something like that, but I don't know. I just didn't like the way that option was working out, but I am going to try to save this little piece. So here's how I'm going to take this apart. Anyway, so I'm just going to cut with my scissors a little sliver off of this section and another one off of this side. Okay, so that, my ring gets stuck in there. So that basically opens this up. Okay, so now I've got sort of like that, right? So now I'm just going to insert my scissors into the, where I made the cut, and I'm going to cut this. Actually, I should be using smaller scissors. At least skinnier scissors. Okay, so I'm just going to cut as straight across here as I can. Cut that off, and then cut that part off. So I've got this little piece too that I can use somewhere in the journal. And then basically that makes this open like that. Okay, so you just pull out those little flaps that are folded in. And then the other thing I thought would be kind of fun as I was playing around with this is to make these actually pop in, so that if this is the cover, this could be a pocket that you could sort of lock closed using these little tabs. But then I thought, nah, I mean, that is kind of cool. Like, I sort of like that idea, but I didn't like the way it was actually working out. So anyway, sometimes people comment and say that they like to hear like what my thought process is, you know, as I'm going through doing this. So that's why I'm sort of rambling on about stuff like that. Anyway, okay, so I do want to try to make sure that they're all a similar size. Just makes life easier. So what I'm going to do is, let me take the one that I did already and see how wide I made that. So it's a little more than, it's about 6.5 inches. Okay. So if I go to 12.5, take it from 6 to about 12.5 on this down here is what I'm looking at. And then, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but so there's that, and then this goes to 6. Okay, so that's pretty much the same as the one that I put together. It's slightly wider, but that's okay. Anyway, so that puts in my general creases of how the journal's going to fold up. Okay, so then I want to make this a little bit more like, I don't know, more substantial. You know, I want it to feel more like a cover. One of the things I thought about doing was taking a piece of cardstock and just lining the inside of these flaps with paper, but that didn't really excite me too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover this whole inside with fabric. And I decided, since I have a lot of ticking cloth, I would use that. So I'm just going to glue that on the inside. Let me trim this off almost to size. So this will be kind of fun. Like, I know I wish I could do more kits. I might be able to actually pull together some other bags. I think I have some smaller cornmeal bags that I could do if anybody would like to have like a smaller one. I'll try to remember to show them to you before the end of this video. Well, let me just grab them real quick. So I've got these also, these smaller bags. These are cornmeal bags. The only thing with these is that these are pretty old, so they're kind of brittle. And I noticed, like, when I was folding them, the paper had a tendency to crack. So to use these, you would need to probably line it with something else, like another paper or something, just to make it more durable. So I don't know, if I get more than 7 requests for the flour sack kits, then I could maybe go to these, if you would be willing to take one of these, or if you would prefer having one of these, then let me know. So send me an email if you would like one of the kits that I'm going to be putting together. I can't show you exactly what's going to be in it yet, because I don't know everything that's going to go in there. But but let me know if you're interested, and that way I can at least get your name on the list. Okay. And let me know also if you would want one of the cornmeal bags. Okay. And then maybe as I go, I can show you some of the ideas I had about how to solve the issue of the brittleness of that paper, because we're going to actually cut this bag open, and that's kind of what I was thinking would have to happen with the cornmeal bags, is you would need to cut it open and line it on the inside with something else, just to make it more durable. Anyway, but these are really sturdy. These bags are really sturdy. I don't even know how old these ones are. These, I mean, these could be new. I don't know. I don't think they are. I don't remember where I got them from, but I think that these are vintage. I don't know how old, though. Thanks, Jimmy. Oh, I guess it's going to be covered with the fabric, but cat hair. Anyway. Okay. Try to make sure that the lines are actually straight up and down, so that nobody gets dizzy while they're looking at it. Since I rearranged everything, I can't remember where I put things on my desk now. Okay. So I just used a glue stick just to get that stuck down. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Hold on. Hold the phone. It wasn't on that. It wasn't straight up there. Hold on. That's one thing I do like about using the glue sticks is it's, you know, it's not, you have some time to work with it. Okay, that's better. This is what happens when you're trying to attach something straight when you're on camera and you can't put your head right over it, you know? Okay. All right, so it's good. It should be good. See, I just wanted to make sure I had a little bit of a border all the way around. And then I'm going to trim that off all the way around the edges using the pinking shears. And I'm going to try not to cut the paper. Try not to cut the bag while I'm doing this. It's okay if the fabric kind of sticks out over the edge just a little bit. And it doesn't have to be perfect. So I had a comment on a video a while back where I was cutting out something and somebody left a comment that I should fast forward through that section because who wants to watch me, you know, cutting out stuff or whatever. And I thought it was really sweet. Someone else left another comment that Jessica doesn't know how to edit videos, so but she does know how to do all kinds of other stuff. So I just wanted to say thank you for sticking up for me. I appreciate it because it's true. Anyway, I am going to figure it out one of these days because I do want to do some crochet videos, and that I don't think I could do at all without some editing, without a lot of editing. Anyway, okay, so we got some fabric on there, got the edges trimmed. All right, so then I want to use this as a pocket, and I want to use this as a pocket, okay? But I don't like this raw edge here. I want to be able to stitch that on the sewing machine, just to kind of finish it and make it, you know, make it look like it's, you know, finished and not just a raw edge. And I also want to give this some more stability, okay? So in order to do that, I want to use the sewing machine, and I can't really do that without cutting this bag open. And, you know, because I couldn't possibly get this under the foot of the sewing machine, right? And then also, I want to do the same thing on this side. So, so I'm going to cut this bag open, and I, you know, maybe could have done that before I put the fabric on, but why would I do it the easy way? Anyway, so I'm just going to grab a craft knife, and I'm just going to gently cut this bag all the way open, just down one side. Okay, just down one side. So now we can access the inside of the bag. So you have to think about what kind of closure are you going to use on this. Like, how do you want this to, you know, be sort of bundled up? you know. And what I think I'm going to do is make like a scrappy tie, kind of like what Carla does on a lot of her journals. And, you know, just make it like a wraparound sort of closure, maybe with a button or something too. I don't know. But that I want to either attach using eyelets or maybe even sew it on somehow, like with the sewing machine. I'll probably wind up using eyelets though. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And maybe add some buttons and stuff to it too. Anyway, so I wanted to add something on this part of the cover to make that a little bit more sturdy, because that's where, you know, that's going to get a lot of wear. You know, that it's got to be really sturdy right this side, because this is where people are going to be opening it all the time, you know. So what I decided to do was just very simple. Take a little strip of paper, just like a little strip of craft paper, and, you know, just use some little strips of fabric or something. I have a bag here that's got all these little scraps. Got all these scraps of fabric. So in these kits that I put together, I will give you lots of little fabric scraps too that you can play with. So just want to make sure that that's long enough. Looks long enough to me. Pretty much long enough. So I'm just going to glue that onto this paper. So I also thought about using the like fabric washi to do this, but you can't really stitch through that on the sewing machine, and I really want to be able to do that. So I can't use the fabric washi either. Okay, and then I just want to make sure that's long enough before I cut it. Okay, I'm just going to cut right here. And because it's a little bit too short, but it's not too bad. Okay. And then I'm just gonna, so I'm gonna fold this, but I want it to be about that wide. Like, I don't want to cover up these words here. So I'm just kind of estimating. I just want a little piece of it to come over just like that. See? Okay. Yeah, that's going to be good. And then I guess I could, you know, I should probably trim that off. So these are just scraps of cardstock. You know, I never throw away any of my scraps of craft paper, because I always need it for construction ideas and stuff. Anyway, so yeah, so that's going to just go right there. And I'm going to glue it on, and then I'm also going to stitch it with the sewing machine. So I'm just using a little bit of art glitter glue just to tack it on there. Sure it's well stuck. And then I'm also going to glue this part down. The inside part I want to try to get glued down a little bit better, because I don't want that inside edge to lift when people are taking things out of the pocket. You know, like I don't want things getting caught on this little flap there. So okay. All right, so see, that just kind of made that a little bit more durable, a little more sturdy. And then I think I'm going to add just a piece of fabric on this inside edge also, just like a little strip. Let's see. I have so much fabric on the floor right here, you guys. It's crazy. So maybe I'll just use a piece of this quilt top. I'm just going to cut some strips of it because I think I'm going to be using this for the rest of the journals too. So I want that to be just long enough. There we go. And then I'm going to glue this down. I know this seems like so crazy to be doing all this, but I don't know. I'm kind of anal about the way things are put together, you know, like I really don't like things that stick out, or I don't like to have a bunch of glue all over the place, and because it would annoy me if I was using this and I was taking things in and out of the pockets and they were constantly getting stuck on, you know, this piece of fabric. So anyway, so I want that to be pretty well stuck down, and then I'm going to fold it over onto the back. I'm just using the glue stick, you guys, because I'm going to be sewing this on the sewing machine, and really that's what's going to be holding it, is the stitching. You could use some fabric tack or some other kind of fabric glue or something, but I just want to, you know, I just want to hold it in place temporarily. I used the art glitter glue on here because I was gluing paper to paper, and I wanted it to be stiffer, you know. I guess that's my reasoning. Okay, and then get rid of these little scraps. So I thought about trying to do some kind of pocket in the center panel here. This would be like in the back, and then something else here. And so I have a couple ideas for that. Those may change. I'm going to show you what I'm thinking now, but that could change. I don't know. But anyway, so this panel is going to be a pocket, like a big pocket. But I didn't really want to put any more fabric on here, so I decided I'm just going to do like a piece of cardstock, some kind of scrapbook paper or something like that, and maybe like some book pages or something. So I'm just going to grab a piece of Timmy paper, because it's always nice, you know, the Tim Holtz papers are always nice for collaging on top of, you know. They just work really well for that. So I just want that to cover all that whiteness, all that white space. So in the kits, I will put a few sheets of Tim Holtz paper in there too, and probably some of the Eclectica papers that Tracy and I did. Actually, I kind of like that side better. Yeah, I think I'm going to glue this side down. And I'm just going to use the glue stick again. And this doesn't have to be exactly perfect because I'm also going to do some stitching with the sewing machine. Okay. Okay. So, so there's that. And then this bugs me. This little tab right here bugs me, and I don't really want to notch that out for some reason. I thought it would be kind of cute to just maybe add some kind of little decorative piece of fabric or something on there. And so I pulled out more fabric scraps. These are actually yo-yos that I took apart a long time ago. And so I thought I'll just layer a couple of these together. Let's use like a white one and a fabric one and a patterned one. Let's kind of layer those sort of offset a little bit. And then hold the phone. Okay. I've got my giant circle hole punch. I couldn't find this one, and so I was using a smaller one at first, but thankfully I found the big one. I think this is 2.5 inches, something like that. I don't know why these don't say what size they are on the stamp, like on the punch. Why doesn't it just tell you like what size circle that is? Anyway, it should say. Okay, so then I'm just going to glue these little circles. Glue, well, let's just glue the white one down. And then a little bit more glue and glue the patterned one down. And in case anybody's wondering, the only reason that I put this mat down is to reduce the glare, because when I moved my desk, I moved my lights, and I have a lot more glare than I want, so I'm going to have to figure something out with that. Anyway, so I just folded that in half, and then I'm just going to stick it on here. And I want to make sure that it doesn't interfere with the movement of this side. So, but I do want it to stick out just a little bit, you know, so it'll be almost like a little handle. Okay, so I'm gonna actually glue this on with the art glitter glue on the inside of this pocket. That, and then oops. Okay. And then stick that down. Okay. So it's like a, I don't know, it's just like a little handle, I guess. Plus I think it looks cool. I guess I could have left it and not glued it down and used that as a little tuck spot or something, which maybe I should do that on future ones. Let's see. I guess I could. No, it's already glued down. It's done. So this one doesn't have a tuck spot there, but maybe for the next ones, I'll only glue it down like right here and then use that as a little tuck spot. Yeah, good thinking, Jessica. Okay, so that's that. And then, so I'm trying to make sure that whatever is going to need to get sewn with the sewing machine gets done while I have this separated, you know, before I stitch this back together. So I wanted to put some pockets, like I said, on both of these panels. So one of the things that I want to use are some of these flashcards. And so I've got all these flashcards that you guys have probably seen lots of times. I've been hoarding them, and I have let go of some, but I just have a really hard time letting go of them. But I have scanned all the ones that I want to keep now. All of these are very old flashcards that I've had for quite a while, like from the 1910s, something like that. Anyway, so I just want to put this is an original. This is not a digital. So I just want to put a pocket right here. Maybe I want to put it here though. Yeah, I think it's better to put it on that side. Because this is going to be opening, right? Like that's going to be opening like that. I don't really want to have stuff going this way. And since this is going to be inside, it won't, yeah, I think it makes more sense to put it on the inside. Anyway, so I'm going to paper clip this in place. Just paper clip it in place until I get the rest of them to this point. And then when I get the sewing machine out, I can just stitch everything all at once. Okay, and then I scanned some of the other cornmeal bags because I thought they would be kind of neat to use as pockets, right? So just really simple. I'm just going to cut these out. I printed them smaller than life size. I might be able to include these in a future kit with Tracy. I don't know. I'll talk to her about that and see. Anyway, so I just cut those bottom corners off just to sort of make it look like it's still a paper bag, you know. And then I'm just going to use the pinking shears and cut the top off. Whoops. I have a bunch of those decorative scissors too, but I've got the pinking shears right here. So anyway, so that, but this is just printed on really lightweight cardstock. So I'm gonna mount that on a piece of craft paper, like heavier craft paper, because I want to use this as a pocket on that panel. So I'm gluing it with a border so that you can still see that border of craft paper around the edges. I want you to still be able to see that. Okay, and then cut this little corner, and then use the pinking shears again to cut across the top of that. You just have to line up the little zigzags, you know, there. Okay, so isn't that cute? I thought that was so cute. Okay. So then this one is going to go right here. All right. So then I'll just paper clip. So I'm also going to run a line of stitching around these two edges. But so here's my thing about the glue. Like, if I'm going to be using the sewing machine to actually you know, to stitch around something, then I just use a glue stick. I don't worry about it. Like, I just use the glue stick. Even though this is very sturdy glue, I don't like to rely on it 100% for something that I'm selling. You know, I like things that I sell to be sturdy and durable and all that. But if I'm not going to be able to do some stitching around the edges of something that I'm gluing down to paper, then I'll use the art glitter glue, because I know that that's going to hold and I don't have to worry about it, you know. Anyway, but since I know I'm going to do just a row of stitching, maybe zigzag around this, then I just use the glue stick. So anyway, so this is going to get some stitching here around those two edges, and then it's also going to get stitched onto this panel. So I'm sort of like sacrificing the center part of this bag as far as like a pocket, if you know what I mean. Like I thought about trying to split this open somehow and make a pocket out of the center section of the bag, but that just got to be too crazy, so I'm not going to worry about it. Anyway, so I'm just paper clipping that in place where it's going to ultimately get stitched in. And then that's basically the cover. Okay, so that's, you know, I mean, I think that's doable, don't you? And I feel pretty good about it. Like, I don't mind this edge. For some reason, this edge doesn't bother me, but this edge did bother me because that's like on the front of the book, you know. So as far as like the left-handed user, I don't really think it's going to work because of the positioning of the pockets. I was thinking that you could flip it around if you were a lefty, you know, but putting this pocket there, that's not going to really help. You know what I mean? That's going to be stupid if you did that. Anyway, not stupid, but you know what I mean. Like, it just wouldn't work. Pockets aren't supposed to be upside down. Well, I guess some people do put them in upside down. Anyway, so I don't know if I need to do, this is the first one that I did. Oh, I'm also going to do some envelopes, and I think, so this, I changed my mind on the positioning of this flashcard, so it's going to go there. There, okay. You guys know I love craft envelopes. Like, I just love them. So I printed some of the other, these flashcards were like this, like about this big. They were pretty big, but I printed some of those, and I'm just gonna do, I think I might put this like right in here or something, like attach it to the journal right there, or I don't know. I might put it right there, like permanently, you know, like I'm going to stitch it in. But I would do like a needle and twine or something to stitch it on there. So this might wind up being like another little booklet or something. So I don't know, but I just glued one of the flashcards. I printed these out. I glued one onto the back of each of these envelopes, and then because I wanted them to fit together and create a little pocket on each side. Hold on, what am I doing? Just a minute. So here's what you do. So I wanted to have a little pocket here and a little pocket here, and then I'm also going to cut the edge of the envelope open and have a pocket on the edge, you know, the whole envelope will be a pocket. Or I might make an incision across the top and make it like a vertical pocket for this part, and then still have these little ones, but I don't know. Anyway, so you basically just take one, turn it backwards, and then fold the flap backwards and set it on top of the inside of the other one, and that's how those go. And then, you know, these will get attached to each other when they're stitched in. You know, if you want to do this and you just like having those little pockets like that, like I do, you could just glue you could just glue like here and here, glue that down, and then fold that, glue here and here, and attach it like that, and then those would be, you know, together. It's a great way to make a little journal cover too, so if you like having a pocket on the front of your journal. So anyway, so that's what I'm doing. I will do another video when I get everything up to the same spot, right, where I get everything to where I'm going to be doing the machine stitching, so I can show you what I'm going to do on the sewing machine. And maybe I'll try to, you know, put the machine off to the side or something, or try to figure out a way that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so if you're interested in a kit, send me an email, and that also helps me kind of know how many I can put together too, because then I can just start, as I'm making these, I can start, you know, putting stuff in the pile that would be for the kits too, you know. So let me know if you're interested in a kit that would be, you know, to go along with the series of journals that I'm making, using, you know, very, very similar supplies. And if you would like a flower bag, or if I run out of those, if you would like one of the cornmeal bags. Oh, I was going to show you what I was talking about with reinforcing the cornmeal bag. So basically, you know, what I would do if I was making those into journals is I would cut them apart exactly like this, and then I would glue on the inside something else, just like a really thin piece of paper, you know, even just using a glue stick, just, you know, just to give it another layer of strength of sturdy paper. You know, it doesn't have to be cardstock or anything, just like even just regular printer paper, you know, just to give it another layer of like new paper, you know, to to make it sturdier. So that's what I meant when I said to like line it with something, is just glue some paper on the inside. If you're using the cornmeal bags, these don't need it because they're pretty sturdy already. So anyway, okay, well that's it, guys. I'll be back. Yeah, so let me know what if you want a kit, and if you would like to have one of the cornmeal bags instead. And there's going to be all kinds of stuff in these kits, though. There'll be ledger paper and all kinds of little kind of like farmhouse type of theme things. I've got a bunch of other flashcards and some playing cards. Pulled out a whole bunch of like really cool playing cards that I have forgotten about. Book pages from like the old readers. I've got more of those. So just, lots of that kind of stuff. Cookbook styles, just farmhousey type of stuff, and ephemera, Anyway, okay, guys, I love you. Bye for now. Oh, and charms. We'll definitely do some charms. I'm still working on the dice. I haven't gotten very far, but so we'll do some charms, and I want to make some other little charms to use on these. And I was playing around cutting out, just using, I have one of those punches that punches thick material, and so I was just trying it out to see how it works on mat board. And so I want to make some more charms, and so have some other video ideas in the works. So anyway, okay, guys, I love you again. Okay, bye for now.